many students are usually there in the class? I mean, last class when you had it with Nandini, I'm sure. Sakina?
5.
Sorry.
Mom, there are 5 or 6 students.
Oh, 5 or 6 students online. Okay.
Online is usually 2 to 3 and then 2 are in the class.
Well, okay, fine. That's what you mean. Okay, thank you. Okay, Sakina and Shyam, we haven't met before. Like it is my first class with you, right? And so let's give you 2 minutes of introduction so that we can get a little each. So we have what's your good name? Shashwat. Shashwat. We have Shashwat class and Sakina and Shyam. So Sakina, it's good. Yeah, I know it's good.
Bal Bharti.
It's not harder.
Yes.
So you're grade 12.
No, grade 11.
Sorry.
Grade 11.
Last 12. And Shyam, what about you?
I am in grade 11.
Of Bharati. You're in Bharati.
Pardon?
Shyam, isn't it difficult to understand? I mean, if there is, I just switch off the fan or something. Are you guys able to hear me properly?
Your voice is not clear, ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Okay, so if I is it okay, Mr. Maybe then. Okay, Shyam and Sakina, can you hear me now? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's hard to make sense what you're speaking.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So what I'll do is I'll just arrange it quickly. I'll arrange a mic. Okay, and then we can begin. Okay, just give me
Ma'am, you call that guy now from second floor. He will just see.
Yeah.
Voice is breaking because.
What is it?
Who are in classroom now?
Shashwat, ma'am.
Shashwat. Only you are there?
Yeah, only Shashwat is here.
Okay.
Okay, so Shyam and Sakina can sort out this issue. Okay, however, if you don't understand something, just quickly raise your hand. I'll understand that this something is wrong and I'll sort out. Okay, till the time that you bring the mic. There, you don't give me this class for you. So this room always has some problem with my voice, not with others' voice.
Hello, Anushka ma'am. Hello.
बोला बोला.
क्लियर
क्लिअर येतोय कारण मॅडम जेव्हा बोलते ना तेव्हा त्यांचा आवाज आहे ना एकदम तुटत तुटत येतोय. मग मुलांनाही क्लिअर होत नाही की त्या काय बोलतात आहे.
आता येतोय का आवाज क्लिअर?
हो, आता व्यवस्थित आहे. तुमचा व्यवस्थित आहे. आता त्या बोलतील तेव्हा कळेल काय आहे ते.
Okay. So, just to give you a quick introduction, I am Deepshikha, and I am not sure if you know about this, but half the syllabus will be done by Miss Nandini, and I'm sure she has taken your classes, like few classes so far, maybe 4 classes. So the syllabus is divided between me and her. Okay, so half the section I will be taking. So I will let you know in some time that you know what all I am taking and what all she's taking, so that there's some clarity maintained with you guys both. And okay, I have experience in teaching. Like I've taught in Dubai and I've taught in US, and of course I have experience in India also. For a very brief period, for a very brief period I've taught in India, but yes, I have experience. In the last batch also, Miss Nandini is there. She has been there since very long, And yeah, I was new in last batch. I also contributed a bit. I would not say a lot. Miss Natalie did a major work. So yeah, so what we are doing is we are starting with reading comprehension. So what I'm thinking is that we will do it in such a way that you won't feel any problem that ma'am is doing something else. There's no connection between the topics, what we are doing. So we are taking it separately. So you won't have any issue. Okay. So reading comprehension is the topic which we are taking. I'm sure we have, so the idea would be, what I expect you guys is, I want you to write side by side. The benefit of writing is when you go for your exam, so you just have to glance through your part, then how am I supposed to attempt the questions, and you're going to go. That's going to help you in the last minute preparation. That happens for one day before or something like that. You can just glance through and go for it. And I'm sure you would do it well. Okay, so this is the topic that is reading comprehension. So, Shyam and Sakina, if you have if you don't have your notebooks, so I please request you to keep it ready. Okay, so then, and one notebook throughout all the classes. Don't change the notebook, please. Okay, so that we have a record and we know what we are intending to do, where are we lacking. Okay. So you can see, do you have a UT book with you, Sabina and Shah?
Yes.
Yes.
So Sabina and Shah, we are doing session 19. Just to clear it, session 19, that is in volume 2. Okay, so you can open session 19. As of now, you don't need the book. Eventually, you will be needing it in the class. Okay. So very first thing, I'm sure, Shyam, what do you know about reading comprehension? What's reading comprehension? What are we supposed to do? Shyam, can you hear me?
Ma'am, pardon, there
I'm
are
sorry.
network issue. Pardon, ma'am, there are some network issue here.
Yeah, there is some issue. So, can you hear me now? Okay, Sakina, can we know from you in the time Shyam is sorting? What do you understand by RC?
Reading the comprehension, understanding it, and like answering best questions on it.
Okay, so what exactly I understood is that answering passages?
Paragraph or passage. Question is on.
Yes. So question based on that is what we do in school. The school base is always like this, that you're reading and you're answering from the passage, that's your school base. However, there will be some difference, okay, in your IPM exam, because that will be a little more advanced. Okay, so what we are looking at in the class is we are trying to analyze the types of questions which come in your exam. Okay, and how you're supposed to attempt those questions. This is what our job would be. So this is purely our job. So you can see the types of question we have. Can you see a direct question, indirect question, as well as a contextual? Can you see? No. Can you see now? Sakina, can you see the screen? Yeah.
Yes.
1 second, Sakina. Let me just make it. 1 second. Yeah, is it okay? Still okay? Okay, so you can see in RC we have direct, indirect, as well as a contextual vocabulary based questions. So what do you understand by direct? What is direct? Think about it. So we can't say I won't go with that with where the answer is directly given. That's not direct. That's not something direct question. So how would you analyze that's a direct question? Think. Come on, Shyam. You can make guesses, Sakina. The more guesses you make, the better would be. It would be.
Direct means there is the
Direct means there is the
You have the answer somewhere in the passage.
okay, so it's like very close, Sakina, but what I was just thinking is that maybe think from this line, like for example, we have passages, okay, we have an outside passage, we have a big long passage, and the first half itself, in the first line, the first half itself, you get the answers. So maybe that could lead to a direct answer, like a direct question, okay? I'm not giving you the final answer. I'll leave you with this for a while, and then I'll come back. Now, indirect questions. What is indirect? Think, come on. What is indirect?
Ma'am, you have to understand and like question try answer.
Uh, I'm sorry, Shyam. Actually, your voice is cracked. Really sorry. I couldn't get it. Maybe Shyam, for a while, you can get the listening end and then maybe once it's sorted out, so we can ask you questions. Sakina, what do you think? Shashwat, right?
Indirect basically calculate okay, the passage mean.
Questions would be like you are trying to analyze the answer. Okay, so this is kind of a table. Just giving you some hints. And then contextual vocabulary. What about, I'm sure you've done this. I'm very sure. Contextual vocabulary based questions. Vocabulary based questions?
Directly from the passage.
No. When you get that
The meaning of the word.
exactly.
Meaning of the word and all.
Yes.
So there were in both.
Yes. So these are the types of questions you are expecting when you are coming for reading comprehension questions IPM. So as he said it, then of course you need to find the meaning and also synonyms, antonyms, all these things comes under this. Okay, contextual vocabulary questions. So Sakina and Shyam, what you do is Shyam, don't yawn, have some water. 2 o'clock. Okay. Okay. So just write down, just make a chart and okay, and just make it divide it into 3 parts and just make it types of questions so that we can always refer back. Second, I could be write it. One is direct, the other one is indirect, and third is contextual, vocab, question. I will find out. Can you see the board, Sakina and Shyam? Okay, Sakina and Shyam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Can you also see the PPT? No? Fine, this is done. Direct, indirect, and Shyam, show it to me where I have written. Show it on the screen.
Now I have now the board was visible to
Shyam,
her. Ma'am, now the board was visible and right. Just
Sakina has written. Okay. Okay, so here you can see these are the types of questions. Then we also have main idea based questions. So you have, so this list is not ending here. Okay, continue with this. That is, you can write the fourth one, Sakina and Shashwat, main idea based. So I tell you after this that what is the strategy we have to follow in solving these questions. So that's our motto of the class. Done. You may, Shashwat, have to move over here. Yeah, because it's very. Main idea based questions. Done. Okay. Done, Shashwat. Okay, so Sakina and Shashwat, if you ever have to solve a question based on main idea, the question will clearly say what is the main idea, what is the central idea in the passage. Okay, so whenever the question comes like that, so your job has to be first line of the paragraph. Okay, so if you look at the first line of every paragraph, like for example, there are 4 paragraphs, you look at the first line, so you will get the thought behind the passage. Okay, so that's our job to do it. See, nothing is fixed. Okay, but this is the strategy which is always followed in IPM exams, because usually whenever we start talking, so initially only we begin with our thought. So you get the main thought from there. Okay, so that is what we always do. And when you solve the question, you'll understand that this is what the writer is doing. Yes, that is where the strategy has come. So you can just write it over there under main idea based questions. Just write down focus on the line. Focus on the first line of every paragraph. Shyam, you just discussed that you can just add it over there, main
Hello, ma'am.
idea based question.
Hello.
And yeah, and whenever you are supposed to,
Ma'am, what we have to write is a notebook.
you just have to write the fourth one as main idea based question. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah, no, ma'am. You told me to write the thing which you have written on the board. Was not visible to me.
See that, Shyam? Contextual vocabulary based question and a main idea based question. Okay, so whenever in your exam you have the question like what is the main idea, what is the central idea of the anything of the poem or whatever it's written. So what do you have to do? What's your strategy?
Focus on the first line of
Exactly. Because usually writer always asks you very clearly where. If it's a long passage. If it's a small passage, obviously the writer will not mention. Okay, they will directly ask you that what's the main idea. Okay? So this is the strategy which we are following. Any doubt in here, Sakina and Shyam?
No, ma'am.
Something is wrong. Usually they are able to share both the things. So you can just read this before I change the slide. Sakina, can you read it loud? The screen?
Yeah, ma'am. Strategy. Understand what the passage is about and what the writer thought when he wrote it. Read the passage carefully before deciding on the right answer or eliminating answers. With a special focus on the first line of every paragraph, as generally the first line of every paragraph will tell you what the writer has to say. Why first line? Because writers generally introduce their thought in the first line and then kind of just elaborate on that thought in the remaining lines by building on it.
Clear? Easy? Okay. Come to the next slide. Now, this is your question. Okay? Based on what we have understood so far. Okay, so now it's a job to find out. Sakina, can you read the passage and then Shashwat can tell the options.
As symbols of the freedom of the wilderness, wild eagles have the unique capacity to inspire people and foster in them a sympathetic attitude towards the needs of other threatened species. Clearly, without that sympathy and the political will, it engenders the needs of more obscure species will go unmet. The conservation needs of many obscure species can only be met by beginning with the conservation of the symbolic species, the wild.
Yes.
While eagles symbolize freedom, conversation, and effort should be concentrated on them rather than on other more obscure species. Option B, the conservation of wild eagles is the first necessary step in conserving other endangered species. Option C, without increased public sympathy for conservation, the needs of many symbolic species will go unmet. Option D, people's love of the wilderness can be used to endanger political support or conservation efforts. Option E, other threatened species do not inspire people or foster sympathy as much as wild eagles do.
Exactly. So basically, your job is to find the closest answer. So what is the closest answer? Sakina, Shyam, solve it in your notebook. Write down which A, B, C, D, E, which is the closest answer to the passage. It is okay to be wrong, but it is important to try. Okay?
I think B.
That's Sakina's answer. Let's hear out Shyam. Shyam, what do you think?
Yes, B. B.
I'm sorry, B for Bombay, D for dog.
Bombay.
Okay, Sakina said D. D for Delhi, Sakina?
No, I said B. B. B for ball.
Okay, so all three answers are D. You guys are correct. You can just read this reason, okay, because it was very close. Shyam, will you read out this reason once quickly? Shyam,
Yes, ma'am.
solution, justification.
Should I read solution?
Yes.
Firstly, the right talk about the wild eagle, which is the symbol of freedom in the wilderness. And then he mentioned the sympathetic attitude in people. He mentioned that we should save all the species by being with the symbolic species from the inference of the passage above. Option B closely enforce the writer's thought. Therefore, option B is the right answer.
See? Okay. See, it is we are making the base right now, building the base. Okay, so that's why I'm going a little slow. Once you're confident, then we can pick up the speed. Okay. Now, this is another type of question. Okay, that we are clear with all those three. Direct, indirect, I'm not giving you examples right now, I'll give it to you. That's very easy ones. Okay. Now, just write down, just add over there in your chart, interpretation of tone. Sakina, write it down quickly. And Shyam, interpretation of tone.
Then can you repeat? Adam? Clearly audible.
Shyam, you made a chart earlier, remember when I told you to write the different types of questions? So in that chart only we are supposed to add. Okay. So this is another type of question which you are adding over there, interpretation of tone. Okay. So our job to do it whenever we see this type of question is we must understand the choice of words. Like we have already discussed in the first line, writers will tell it about his process, thought process. So over there itself, you will get his emotions also. Like you will clearly get an idea, is he neutral, is he annoyed, is he happy? So you'll get your emotions in the first line itself. However, there's a catch in this. There might be a possibility that initially he's very positive, and but when he's coming to the end, he becomes negative. Possibility. So we are not going with the first emotion only. We are going because whenever the question comes as in the whole passage. It never comes on the first paragraph or second paragraph. In case it is their first paragraph, second paragraph, then easy. Otherwise, just be mindful of the tone. Be sarcastic, critical, whatever. So this is what you are supposed to do. Clear, Shyam and Sakina? Okay, Sakina, can you just quickly read it? Just to avoid confusion later on.
In these type of questions, you must understand the choice of words. Generally, the first line will tell you about the writer's thought process. Try to understand the writer's emotion, whether the writer is annoyed, happy, or neutral, while stating some facts. This can help you decide which tone to select from the given option.
Clear? Thank you, Shyam. I'm not asking you to read because of the network issue, okay? So once the network is solved, then I will do that. Okay, so this is your sample question for this thing. Tone, interpretation of tone. Let's sort this answer and then you would be able to do it further. Okay. Shashwat, will you read the paragraph?
Sample question. Traditional values are changing. We are aping the West and making monkeys of ourselves. While Hollywood is extolling the history of their own people and making epic movies like Gangs of New York, Pirates of Caribbean, etc. Hollywood is building itself with desperate attempts to make mature American like movies and Hollywood films. While we concentrate on remixing songs and duplicating English videos, we are slowly stepping away from the path of originality and individuality. But while in the last generation there was just plain following of Western principles by the youth, there have been greater benefits. The youth today not only learn from the West, but they like their great ancestor who built this nation. Are combining knowledge with our own culture, and now a time has come where the West is aping the East. Punjab Tunes, Desi styles, and Indian art has hit the market successfully and is making us known to the world. So while there's change, like I mentioned earlier, it isn't all for the worst.
Okay, so thank you. So here, Sakina, we are finding out the tone. Okay, Shyam. Is she critical? Is the writer critical? What do we mean by critical? What is critical? What's critical, guys?
Finding the flaws of something of a particular thing.
Maybe analyzing in a different way.
Or is it little bit criticizing?
Criticize. He's saying Shashwat saying a little bit of criticizing. Okay, so I will go with the critical with that thing. Okay. Optimistic. What is optimistic?
Doubtful.
Now, optimistic. When you see a positivity in the person, positive side. Like for example, we are very positive in our life. I'm sure this will happen. I'm sure this will work. So very positive, right? We are not negative in our approach. So that is known as optimistic. A person who is very positive, okay, in his outlook, in his attitude. Are we clear, Sakina? Sakina, are you clear with this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, what is denouncing? What is denouncing? Showing an evil eye, like showing something that, it's just wrong. Presenting it in a very wrong way. Okay? So that is known as denouncing. Like publicly declare, write it down, publicly declare to be evil or wrong. Publicly declared in front of everyone. Okay? I'm just showing you the showing you the board also. Can you see that? Usually in both we can see both the things. PPT also and this also. Why is it coming like this? Positive, optimistic, you wrote it. Sham and Sakina, I want you to write in your notebook because these questions will definitely come. There is no second thought to it. Okay, denouncing.
And optimistic means a positive thing of a person.
Yes. One second. Let me just sort. Whole screen. Like this. And the PPT. So usually I'm able to do PPT and the board together, but it's not happening. कौन सा PPT करना है तो इधर स्कोप नहीं नीचे PPT ऊपर जी सिक्योरिटी आई कांट सी यूजुअली तो दोनों चीजें दिखती हैं दिखती तो है ये कहाँ से शेयर कर रहे हो गूगल ड्राइव से नहीं मैम पेन ड्राइव से बेसिकली जी ये वाला है जी ये का बच्चों को दिखता है ठीक है ये चलाना है और चेंज करना पड़ेगा Spite of the balance management. कभी PPT स्लाइड है आप समथिंग छोटा करके हां मैं बोल हां आपने उसको once again I'm sorry Now to find out the meaning of denouncing. Till then. And Shyam, you too. Sakina, can you confirm?
Yes, ma'am. I need to switch my network. Just give me 5 minutes.
So we finished critical, finished optimistic, right? We did denouncing. What is pessimistic? Pessimistic, guys, any clue? Opposite of optimist.
Negative.
Yes. Are we clear with pessimistic? Sakina and Sham. Sakina, switch on your camera, please. Pessimistic, please write it down. That's known as your negative side. Okay. What is sympathetic? What is sympathetic? Huh? Sympathy. What is sympathy? Come on,
To
guys.
give favor,
I'm sorry.
to give favor,
Yes, good. Okay, good. Sympathetic, we understand from that passage itself. The author trying to show sympathy towards them. Hopeful, I think hopeful is pretty clear. We are hopeful about something, right? Okay, critical, please write it down the meaning critical. Critical means saying both good and bad things, listing out both good and bad things. That is known as critical. Okay, so critical is not never one-sided. It's always two-sided. Oops. Yeah. Critical is always two sides. Okay? Both sides.
and
Clear?
ma'am, what is the meaning of critical? Can you pardon?
Critical means you are also listing the good side and the bad side. Okay, like critically you are seeing something. Like for example, you might have seen people talking critically about movies. Okay, so they give you some ratings, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, with the thing that, this is the good part of it, but there's also a bad part of it. So that's known as critically doing it, seeing both angles. Okay. Baki, I am sure the rest of them are clear now. Yeah. Shyam, let's hear from you. What is optimistic? Quickly. What is optimistic?
Ma'am, optimistic means a positive thing about a person.
Positive. When you look at the positivity. Pessimist.
Yeah. Ma'am, can you please again, can you please say the meaning of pessimist? There was a net issue here. I couldn't hear that meaning of that pessimistic.
Pessimist means negative. Shyam. It's an opposite of pessimist. Okay. Optimist is your positive. Pessimist is your negative. Okay. And Sakina, what is denouncing?
Means saying something against a particular thing.
No, I never said denouncing is against. Sakina, can you hear me? Sakina,
Yes.
denouncing means publicly declaring to be wrong.
Okay. Ma'am, I can't see the board because it's like.
Oh dear. Write it down, please. These questions will come in your exam. And if you don't know the meaning, you won't be able to assess the writer's thought. It's very simple. Are you getting that? Now that you know the meaning, let's see your answer, guys. Which one do you think? Is the author critically doing something? Positive, negative, publicly declaring? What?
Critical and optimistic.
Okay, so Shashwat says A. Let's hear out Sakina. Sakina, what do you think?
I'm not able to get the right one, but mostly critical and D.
Pessimist. Okay. So
A.
A. Shyam. Okay. So Shyam and Shashwat goes with A. So they feel that the good and the bad side both are being shown. And you can find out the optimistic also, that is the positivity also over there. Whereas Sakina is thinking that it's of course critical, but she's finding somewhere positive, negative side also. Right, Sakina? Okay. Okay, let's see the answer, guys. Shashwat, read it out.
The author started with a very negative tone, but the moment he wrote his part, he changed his tone by mentioning that while in the last generation there was a plain following of Western principles by the youth, now there have been greater benefits. The youth today now only learn from the West, but they like their great ancestors who built this nation are combining this knowledge with our own culture, and now the time has come where the West is eating the East. We started on a negative tone and ended on a positive note. Therefore, there is a combination of two tones matching the inference tones with the given option, and eliminating option A is the right option.
What is the right answer? What was the job to do? Let's see the question again. You have to read it and choose the answer closest to the question based on the passage, right? So when we talk about closest, so he is starting with the negative side, and then what did he do? Did he bring the positive side in it? Yes. And then was there positivity or was there negativity?
Positive.
Positivity. Isn't it? Like you started with something negative and then you bring positive. So somewhere in Sakina and Shyam and Shashwat, you all three were correct and he was critical. Right? But when Sakina, you looked at the later part of it, maybe you just guessed it that he is negative. However, there is no negativity in his things because he already turned positive. Isn't it? But Sakina, you started it correctly. That you were able to analyze and then you brought it that it was the more of a positive. Are we clear with this? Right now, you may be feeling it. Eventually, you'll have a grip of it. So don't worry. Once you start practicing more and more. Okay. So now this is an example for your contextual vocabulary based question. This is exactly the same thing which Sakina said, that we are supposed to find out the meaning. Sakina, this is what you said in the start of class. So this is exactly like that you are basically, what you are supposed to find is, you are supposed to find something, the nearest thing. Okay, the nearly, what does it mean? Because the word in IPM, what do they do is, they write a word and the options will be very close to each other. So what your job has to be, what is the most closest? That's my job. Okay, so this is what we have to find. So let's hear out Sakina. She can read out the passage and then we can discuss that.
Our seemingly insatiable appetite for seafood delicacies like smoked salmon, king prawns, and grilled sea bass has inevitably contributed to a sharp reduction in ocean fish populations. As many commercial boats frequently returned to shore with empty nets, it became clear that supply was starting to run significantly short of an ever increasing demand. But then came a potential solution in the form of a tried and true method of food production, farming. Today, while traditional ocean fisheries remain in decline, commercial fish farming is booming and premium fish remain on menus worldwide. Ingenuity and flexible thinking made a seemingly doomed resource more sustainable.
The word sharp in paragraph most clearly means. When you see the word sharp, let's find out the word sharp. Where is sharp?
Third line.
Sharp reduction is like third line. Shyam, can you see that word before the reduction?
Pardon?
Can you find the word over here, sharp, in your passage?
And the piercing.
So Shyam,
A1.
Shashwat, what do you think?
Intense.
Okay, Shashwat thinks intense. Sakina?
Intense.
Intense. So let's look at the answer. Sakina, read out the answer.
The passage mentions the sharp reduction in the fish population due to ever increasing demand. Appreciable is the suitable option, hence option D is the correct choice.
Let's go back. Now, let's see. It's okay, Sakina. It happens with everyone. Relax, okay? This is how it starts. And then you will have a grip and I'm very sure you'll be able to do it, okay? Don't worry. So just try reading the first four sentences. Our seemingly insatiable appetite for seafood delicacies, like your salmon, prawns, grilled sea, and contributed to a sharp reduction in ocean fish population. So your question will never be, there's a catch. You should not always look for a closest meaning without identifying the tone of the author. Okay, so whenever you are finding a meaning, first analyze the tone of the author. See, the meaning changes as per my tone. If I am being very negative in my approach, so my meaning will automatically lead to my negativity. Okay, so that is why it is important to identify the tone. So he is very happy. So if you see over here in the first three lines, he is happy that, because of this, sharp reduction is there. So he's very appreciating this part. So that is why the sharp means appreciate. Are we clear, Sakina, Shyam? Yes? So what are we supposed to do in a contextual? What is my first job to do in my contextual vocabulary based question? Finding the tone of the author. And where do I find the tone of the author?
Approach towards
First line.
first.
Remember, first line, we discussed the first line of every paragraph. Clear? Easy? Okay. This is what I said just now. Inference means meaning. Okay. Let's do one more and let's see. Okay. You'll read Shashwat.
When New York population is estimated that 50,000 to 60,000 people, the United States want an anthology that includes the complete works of William Shakespeare and what accounts for this renewed interest in Shakespeare. Scholars point out that the psychological insights he portrays both male and female. This paragraph best supports the statement that characters are amazing even today. Shall I give an example?
Yeah, Shyam, just choose the option, guys. Which option do you think is closest? Be very careful find out what are they trying to convey in the passage first.
Others have viewed interest in the work of Shakespeare.
Okay, Shashwat says D. Let's see what Shyam and Sakina thinks.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. D. D
Oh.
also.
Okay, Shyam. Sakina,
C,
I'm sorry.
C, C.
Are you saying D, D for Delhi?
Ma'am, third option.
Third option, C. See? Okay, you can see the answer. Okay, Sakina, read out the answer.
The writer has given us a statistic about how many people want an anthology of Shakespeare's work and has also justified the statistic with a reason. Now, eliminating the options A. Shakespeare's characters are more interesting than fictional characters today. This cannot be the right answer as the passage does not discuss fictional characters.
You agree with this?
People today,
Sorry, Sakina. So we agree with this. It doesn't discuss with any fictional characters. So obviously A is not possible. Okay, I forgot to tell you one strategy. Sometimes what happens is that your answers are so close, so you follow the policy of eliminating. Okay, eliminate the options, then you will get the right answer clearly. Okay, so this is the strategy they are following in this solution. Second, Sakina.
people today are interested in Shakespeare's work because of the characters. This can be the right choice. C. Academic scholars are putting together an anthology of Shakespeare's work. The passage mentions that the people want an anthology but does not mention whether the scholars have started working on it or not. Therefore, it cannot be the right choice.
Do you get it, Sakina?
D.
Why Sakina? You get it? Why
Yes, yes.
not correct?
Yeah.
Because there is no clarity in that it says that they have
If
started.
they've started working or not.
Yes. Shashwat, read out the D one.
The authors have a great renewed interest in the work of Shakespeare. The para mentions that one New York publisher has estimated the number of interested people in the US, and there isn't any direct reference to the people of New York, therefore it did not write that.
Make sense? Okay. Shyam, can you read out the fifth one? E part.
Shakespeare was a psychiatrist as well as a playwright. As the author doesn't mention anything about Shakespeare profession, this can be the right choice. Therefore, option B is the right choice.
Makes sense? So you have to eliminate answers. Okay. So this was the start, beginning. Okay, that's why you might be finding that you might be overwhelmed that there are a lot of things, but it is not. Okay, it's just this much in RC. And the more you keep repeating, like we have 2 more sessions, I guess, for RCs. Once we will have a grip of it, once we'll be thorough with it. Okay, so once we finish RC, because you'll get many exercises to solve. Okay. Okay. So the explanation is done. So now what your job is, just open the textbook, UT textbook. Volume 2. Shyam and Sakina, show me your textbook quickly.
Ma'am, just a sec. I have to bring my volume 2 book. Just a sec. Give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. It is fine.
And this one?
Yeah, volume two. Read from here, volume two.
Yeah, it's volume 2 only. It's volume 2 only.
Yeah, open session 19. Sakina, do you have your book? Open session 19, and I'll tell you your task. Okay. Page number 105. Now, Sakina, Shyam, Shashwat. Over here in the textbook, you would be finding more or less the information similar to what we have done. Okay. But there might be some things obviously which we may not have covered right now. Okay, so what our job is to find out that if there is something. So what you are supposed to do is I'll give you 2-3 minutes to read out one page. Read out means you have to read it on your own. Okay. And once you read it, I'll ask one of you to give me a gist of it. Gist means summary. Okay. Summary of the paragraph, summary of the page. So the benefit of this is that we have covered 100% of the RC. So if you think you have a doubt with a particular line or particular something, so I can clear you. Okay, and then we will move to the exercise. Are we clear, Sakina, with the task? So I'll ask any one of you. So your time starts now, 3 minutes to every page. It's 3:03 till 3:06 you are doing it.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay. Sakina and Shashwat, once you're done, raise your hand.
No. I have a doubt.
Shyam, wait for a while. Let everyone read. Shyam, have you read whole page? Sakina? Okay. So Sakina, let's hear you out. Summary. Just give us the 2-3 important points, main points of the page.
First of all, they are telling us how to read the comprehension and how to analyze it, and then the different types of question in it, the main idea question and the vocabulary questions, and they in main idea is the same points. Read the first line, and the title refers to the most appropriate heading. We need to first understand what basically the whole paragraph is about, and then in vocabulary questions, we need to find the word of a meaning, synonyms, on antonyms, whatever is asked.
Good. So any doubt? Shyam, you had a doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Can you just give the explanation of explicitly? explicitly.
Okay, explicitly means कि आपको वहां पर explain दिया जाएगा explicitly. आपको वहां पर it will be there. Okay, directly it will be there in the passage. This is what it is. Yeah, and that might have been elaborated or something like this. We have to find out. Are we clear? No doubt, right? Okay, come to page number 106. Quickly read out, then I'll ask one of you to quickly give me a gist. Sakina, Shyam, Shashwat. Hina done? Shyam? Finished? Okay, Shashwat is talking about the second page.
Basically, second page tells about how the questions can be asked and so the way you can solve a question basically by identifying the idea or argument about the passage.
They can see. Second, can you hear it properly?
Yes.
Basically, the idea or the argument related to the passage, then the author is his emotions about the passage is it positive, neutral, or negative. Then what else? Distinguishing between the minor and major points from the passage, and at last you can give also a summary. We find or create a summary from the given passage and identifying strengths and weaknesses. Highlighting facts or reflecting the opinions of the author. And next is the question format and strategy. So many questions are multiple choice questions, which are in which you have to select one option from multiple options like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Shyam, any doubt? Sakina? Easy to hear? Perfect. So let's move on to the next page. Let's move on to the next page. Shyam? Yes. Waiting for Shyam. Till the time, if you want, you can start reading the next page, and then I'll ask one of you to. Yes, Shyam. Can you give us a summary?
Yes, ma'am.
Provide us with a summary, please.
Yes, ma'am. In this question, we have means they have said that you should be careful to pick up and answer properly. Statements are true here. When uh, you should when they have given the meaning of a word, you should choose the option correctly by the way word is being used in the passage. Uh, many words are different meaning when they are used in different contexts. Uh, you should select means there are questions when there are question there are some questions where one, two, or three all are the correct answers of that question. Uh, means it can you just explain the third point or that multiple choice? I couldn't understand. Multiple choice. Select one or more answer choice.
But to gain credit for these questions? Are you talking about that? Okay, so basically what they're saying is that to gain credit for these questions, you must select all the correct answers and only those there's no credit for partially evaluate each answer choice separately. And then answer to not take others into account, do not miss the point. There's no mistake and have three correct answer choices. Okay. So basically what they're saying is that there might be questions. Okay, you have to read the question properly. So the question may not expect you something like what is the correct one. Okay, so the question can also be which is the incorrect one. So they're saying usually the tendency is to find the correct ones. We try finding it. So you may find three answers correct and one incorrect. Okay, so the possibility is this. So that is what they're telling you about. There is possibility for such questions.
We should evaluate each answer choice separately on our own. On its merit. Sorry. Uh, then we should read and analyze choices carefully before trying to answer the question. Then we should pay attention on the clues that help you to understand less specificity except of the passage. We should we should try to distinguish main ideas from supporting ideas or evidence which are given in the passage. Uh, and we should also distinguish ideas that the author is advancing from the passage uh, from those or who he or she is merely reporting on the passage. Uh, we should identify the main transaction which are given there. Uh, and also identify the relationship between different ideas or texts. Uh, we should also identify are there some contrasting or consistent? Does one support the other? Does one provide greater detail about the other, or does one apply the other to the particular circumstances. Uh, so we should read each question carefully and so be certain to understand the.
Okay, Shyam, I really appreciate, but I just wanted three main points. That's all. Okay. So, so if you have doubt on that particular page, so you can ask me. Otherwise, everyone, each one of you, just three revolve around the main points. Okay. Otherwise, you'll never finish our syllabus. Okay. Okay, Shyam. Well, thank you. Thank you for the detailed explanation. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the fourth. That's page number 108. Mainly focus on that part in talking which I haven't done by any chance. By any chance, if I haven't done. Okay. Done guys? Sakina, Sham? Okay, good. Do you want to talk about?
Yes.
So Shashwat is talking about.
So basically, the speech tells about the things you should avoid, what you should improve on, like maybe getting distracted from the passage, like the question is from outside the passage, or ways you can improve it by your vocabulary, focusing on the contents, and improving reading skills, and by not reading the passage first and maybe focusing on the first line and the last line where there's a limited time. And other than that, it's like, given the we're talking about the sorry, okay. So in the last paragraph, it is mentioned on how to solve important answer questions. So there are different types of answer questions. First, are the main ideas questions where first you have to focus on the central idea or the theme of the passage. So the second piece.
Good. Are we all clear? Any doubts, Sakina, Sham? Oh, perfect. Okay, let's move on. Page number 109. Sakina, Sham, quickly read on your own. Page number 109. Evening, Sakina, Shyam. No? Sakina, I'll ask you to provide the gist. Okay, so once you're ready, just tell me. 3 or 4 more pages now. There is that. And you know, once we are clear, no need again and again. First time it's always difficult. So,
I'm done.
okay, Sakina.
So basically first they are asking us to know the prime focus and purpose of the passage because the question can be asked of like a specific paragraph. Okay, what does this paragraph is talking about? Then they are saying we have two types of titles, explicit and implicit. Explicit means it is very obvious that this is the title of the paragraph. Whereas in implicit, it is not directly told what it is. We have to find. It can be in the form of idioms or something. Then they are telling how to structure and organize and how to basically read the paragraph and how it describes it. And then there are points about saying that we do not need to focus more on the minor details of the paragraph because that is generally not needed. And we need to focus on first line of each paragraph because it basically tells what is being told in the whole paragraph. So it just gives us an idea, and like the rest of the paragraph is just basically describing that. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
Easy? Shyam, are you comfortable? Shyam, are you comfortable with the topic? No? Do you have any doubts? Can I help you in any doubt, anything?
Yes, ma'am. Can you just please explain the meaning of be mindful of the scope track? I couldn't understand that.
I am really. Can you help me out? Which
Mom is asking for the last point. Be mindful
Yes,
of the
last part. Yeah.
oh, sure. And Shyam, otherwise you're confident, you're okay with the rest of the topic? Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the options you have to write were outside the advice. So basically, Shyam, what they're saying is that, you know, sometimes what happens is that the answer, the options which are given over there may not be from the scope. In the sense, like for example, they gave an example of unemployment. Like for example, I'm talking about unemployment in India and all these things. So my entire passage talks about unemployment in India. Suddenly, the option, you find unemployment in America, right? So you don't have to get carry forward that you know the answer would be unemployment in America. No, 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 no. Okay, because nowhere it talks about America. Okay, so for example, there is a possibility that there is in your 4 options, you have nothing being talked about unemployment, and only in one option unemployment is discussed with reference to America. So that doesn't mean that I'll just go with America. So what you have to do is you have to find the closest answer in options 1, 2, 3. So this is what they're saying. It's sometimes the central idea leads you to the wrong answer also. Are we clear with this, Shia? Easy? Don't worry, it's just 4 pages. Or I have another option for you. I know it becomes tiring. I do understand all this. Okay. So what we can do is we can take a break from this. Okay. And we can do one passage. Okay, that will be interesting for you. And then we can come back later. Maybe in the next class, if not this. Make sense? Make sense? Too much of reading also becomes do you want that way? Sakina, do you want that way? Okay, so just make sure you write, you fold the page, you mark it somewhere that we have to supposed to start from page number 110. Okay, and so we should not forget it. So now we'll just go to passage 1. Can you see page number 116? Sakina, can you see page number 116? Sakina will do the exercise quickly. This will be interesting for you because you have to mark the answers. That's all. Okay. So, usually, if it is a 4 questions are there, so we're supposed to finish in 8 minutes. Okay, but since you're new to the topic and all, so you may take like 12 minutes, but don't extend more than that. Your time starts now, it's 3:37. session 19. The बाहर से आने वाली Shyam done, Sakina?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sakina, you also done? Okay. So let's discuss. Ina to come back. The primary purpose of the passage, yeah. Shyam, the primary purpose of the passage. Are you there, Shyam? There's a problem, I guess. Just wait. Want to do passage 2 till then?
Ma'am, have you finished it?
I think there's some connection issue because they can't hear me. Once a page, we have done. No. Reading. No. What are you supposed to start?
Okay, Saturday 10.
109 we have done, no? Till page 109. 82 passage 2. And once they come back, then I will discuss. Ma'am, can you check if they're coming back, please?
Yes, ma'am, I will check. You give me the 2 minutes.
Done? Primary purpose snapshot here.
Europeans as a region.
Down, there is. Let's
Native Americans are more respectful now. The Europeans are careless about their own.
I think it's ignored. Let's just check. Respectful. Chicken. Careless because it's very difficult to identify that somebody is careless about this. What can be inferred from the third paragraph? This is correct. To be honest, I have to read the paragraph. I can't do it like this. Cannot be inferred. Primary purpose of the passage is primary purpose. Just read the first line and find out. First line itself will get it. You finding it difficult? You mean to find out the primary purpose.
Ma'am, I think you would have to stop the lecture. Ma'am, the Sanika's light is not there. That's why she can't join. Sakina, sorry. And Sham is not picking up the phone.
But there was some problem with Shashwat's because he was still on the camera. So, anyways, it's still 4 o'clock. So I'll just wind up with Shashwat and then we can close. Because I just need 2-3 minutes for Shashwat.
Okay, ma'am.
What can we discuss this? Discuss 2 examples. Yeah. Modeling. Smartly. Why didn't you mark your answers? Oh, okay. This one. This passage is most likely to be taken from. Okay. Title.
I can see the family condition.
Modeling values for children. Okay. What should the author be trying to narrate?
I can't see the guidance changes.
Monumental. Okay, should get the character value shapes, character size, the values of the top of the home. Day to day. So that means they're talking about home. Adults are not doing formative years. More importantly, chicken, unfortunately, parents of formative years, parents struggle up samples. Yeah, because I think it's day to day, so maybe that would be the reason they've kept it as we both this. Okay, any doubt? Okay, Anushka ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, no doubt.
Can I end it?
Yes, ma'am, we're done with the lecture. Actually, I didn't know that we are supposed to give the break. So I didn't give them.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.